Following a spiritual path means that you investigate everything. You learn as much as you can and you question your beliefs all the time. It means that you are no longer part of the sheeple. That's the people who blindly and without thinking follow the nearest leader like sheep. Yes, this is a scary thought, but it's also an exciting journey. And whether you like it or not, you have already started it. I'm sure that your religious leaders have a view on each one of the questions I raised above, and on many more issues. Are those your answers as well? Or are those simply the answers that you have so far chosen to accept because that was the most expedient way? Here's another question for you. Are there moral or religious issues where you find yourself disagreeing with what the religious leaders say? Describe those issues. You don't need to find an answer yet. Following a spiritual path doesn't mean turning your back on everything related to religion. Spirituality allows and requires you to get a broader view on life and to question everything. This means not only questioning your religion, but also investigating every belief system that you get into contact with. Why would you turn your back on one religion and be left with nothing? Why not research as many other belief systems as you can and then decide which of them, if any, resonate with you? On my journey, I discovered that following the Protestant faith put me in a straitjacket of beliefs and practices, no matter which version of being a Protestant I associate with. I once attended a Catholic funeral and discovered that the straitjacket is the same, with incense added. I made some lovely Jewish friends and discovered the prejudice against Jews. I never had any intention of ever joining the Jewish faith, not because I had anything against Jews, but simply because I was exploring all religions and philosophies in my quest for the truth. One day I was traveling with a Christian church minister. The devil was sitting on my shoulder. As we were passing the local synagogue, I mentioned in passing that I had made some lovely Jewish friends and I was investigating their religion. The Christian church minister was apoplectic, and his response was, "You don't know what you're dealing with. One day these people will wake up and discover the extent of their sin, and it may be too late for them to turn to Jesus. You will not raise like this. I will pray for you." Of course, this didn't stop my exploration. A few years later, I added an entire section to my website, which is elsabysmith.com, covering the religious holidays of all the major religions and belief systems in the world, and as many lesser-known religions as I could unearth. That gave me a good overview of what all religions were about, not just the Protestant religion. I haven't given up on my journey yet. I will tell you more about where I am now later in this journey. The point here is that following a spiritual path doesn't mean you can claim some sort of moral responsibility, but rather that you should take the best you can find from whatever religion you are familiar with, are investigating, or encounter on your quest, and keep moving forward on your journey. I'll give you some examples. There's a story in the Bible about a guy called Jonah who was told by God to travel to a place called Nineveh. Jonah decided instead to travel to a place called Tarshish and was swallowed by a whale. Jonah spent 3 days inside the whale, and then after finally agreeing with God that he would travel to Nineveh, the whale spat him out and he continued with his journey. Really? Where did he get oxygen from for 3 days? Why did God not simply put him in a different ship rather than inside a whale? Or is this intended to be some metaphor for a life crisis or depression? Either way, I'm not swallowing this. On the other hand, the Bible says, love your neighbor. Other religious scriptures say the same, even though they may use different words. This makes sense to me, and I chose to apply this to my life. This wisdom starts with my physical body, which is my nearest neighbor, and encompasses anyone who crosses my path for whatever reason.